Well, a brand new generation of Nintendo console is finally upon us. And of course, I stood in line with a couple friends on launch night to secure what is now the 68th console in my collection. Despite the naysayers, the Switch 2 has sold at a historic pace, moving a staggering 3 million units in 3 days, beating the previous record held by the PS4 by 2 times. Personally, I'm very happy with the hardware upgrade, and I didn't think Nintendo needed to reinvent the wheel this time after striking gold with the hybrid form factor of the Switch. The way I see it, the Switch 2 is like the SNES, upgraded but not radically different. I was especially pleased that not only is physical media being retained in the form of cartridges, but the same form factor would be retained and widespread backwards compatibility would be supported. This is a huge pro-consumer move, and Nintendo deserves full credit here. One of my friends that got a Switch 2 hasn't owned a Nintendo console since the GameCube, so he's missed out on all the incredible titles released in the previous generation, and will now be able to play them no problem. Unfortunately, there's a huge issue with the Switch 2 cartridges. You see, original Switch cartridges came in a variety of storage sizes, ranging from as small as 1GB all the way up to 64GB. This allowed publishers to save money by using a smaller, less expensive cartridge if their game didn't require the additional space. A ton of smaller indie titles were released physically because of this system that otherwise wouldn't be justifiable. This time around, there is only one size of cart available, 64GB. What was previously the most rarely used, most expensive option is now the only choice for publishers that want to put their game on a piece of physical media. Now, in order to find a solution to the problem they themselves created, Nintendo has introduced the Game Key card. This is a physical cartridge that comes in the same packaging as a normal game, but has no data on it. Instead, simply initiating a download of the game from Nintendo servers upon being inserted into the console. Thankfully, keycard games are clearly labeled on the box, on the lower portion having this white banner saying what it is, and I can tell you right now I will be adding exactly 0 of these to my collection. The good news, Nintendo's first-party titles, the Mario, Zelda's, Pokemon, etc., will be true physical releases with the entire game on the cartridge itself. This is a huge relief for me, as these were the main reason for me getting this console in the first place, not so much the third-party titles. I realize this is a pretty privileged position I'm in, and for millions of people, this is intended to be their only gaming system and that they'll be playing everything on this generation. My fear with these things has seemingly come true, in that basically all third-party games released for the Switch 2 so far have been in the Game Key card form, rather than true physicals, whilst also retaining the new eye-watering price points of, at a minimum, $80, sometimes way more. To say I'm extremely disappointed with this would be a grave understatement. Now, it's important to mention that not every third party is taking the cheap-out route here. I'm happy to give credit where credit is due. Hats off to CD Projekt Red for fitting the entirety of Cyberpunk and its expansion Phantom Liberty onto the Switch cartridge, as well as the publisher Marvelous Games, which has stated they will not be putting out their games on keycards. You can pick up Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma on the Switch 2 as a true physical right now. I'm pretty pessimistic usually when it comes to the future of physical media, with how it's clear we are quickly shifting into a digital-only future, at least for the most part. Which is why it really surprised me to see these new reports coming in just this week regarding weaker than expected sales of third-party games. Remember that this is a record-smashing console launch, so you'd think that software across the board would be flying off the shelf. However, it's looking like there is some real pushback from consumers regarding these fake physicals. Anywhere you look, a newly announced Switch 2 game that is on a keycard, it is flooded with comments expressing disappointment. If games are going to cost $80 at a minimum, now the least they can do is actually sell you a game, right? Even extra pricey collector's editions are cheaping out with these stupid keycards. Maybe, just maybe, if people are taking this much of a stand against this garbage, that actual sales data is starting to show badly, more publishers like Marvelous will commit to doing true cartridge releases. But until that happens, it's looking like my game library for the Switch 2 will be much slimmer in numbers compared to my other Nintendo libraries. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you just as annoyed as I am about keycards? Were you going to buy all digital to begin with? Let me know. Also, hey, we're getting close to 3,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. As an incentive, when I hit 3K subs, I'll do an updated game room tour showcasing all of the things I've changed since the last time. As always, thanks for watching.